Fighting stackers is a Warzone skill I am addicted to perfecting. Learning to escape their overwhelming suffocation takes calculated decisions and razor-thin timing. The higher you climb in your skill level, the more aggressive the squad stack becomes. Today I'm going to teach you 5 advanced tips to win more gunfights, even when you're outnumbered. This tactic will not be easy, but if you're serious about your Warzone improvement, I only have one thing to say to you.
Gentlemen, prepare to defend yourselves!
We're going to dive into extreme decision-making strategies designed to help you build better habits. I'm going to show you how to properly execute multiple kills while on the move. Most importantly, I'm going to break down how I fight outnumbered in different scenarios. If you use these big brain tactics, you will outplay more and get more kills. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're new to the channel, welcome to premium Warzone content. So one of the first tactics that we have to use is called isolation. And that's where we break apart an enemy team one by one, because 1v1 gunfights are more successful. After we've eliminated player 1, we are looking on the minimap to get as much information as possible, and we're also reacting to our closest target. It is extremely important to reposition at the start of that fight. Now we see that they're on our side of the house here. We're going to use the crest of this peak to get ourselves into cover, sliding down the roof line, and we're immediately anticipating the push that they are on the low side going to come up the steps and engage us. So we're going to pre-aim that area and put successful fire on that immediately. Now we have 2 more on the minimap, so we're going to fortify our position. And this is where I think players go wrong. They don't use what I call the nope moment. The nope moment is the instinct that when you see more than one enemy in your field of view, if you have 2 sets of eyes pointed in your direction, you need to be immediately making changes to get yourself out of that situation. The 5 basic instincts that you need to have to execute this are the 5 R's, which are retreat, reload, reposition, replate, and then re-engage. So the immediate factor that we're going to take on is step 1, which is retreat. And we're going to pull away from that doorway and immediately giving ourselves a blind spot around this piece of cover. And we are going to assess all of our resources. Even though we've gotten 1 break, this is not a fight we're going to win. And this is what I think that most players continually get greedy with as they get a break. They have successful gunfire, but then they're losing to that second enemy who is team firing and cutting the time to kill in half. So we're going to maximize our environment and using the doorway, being able to close the door, and then we're going to bait in on the mine that we have placed inside the door. We also have another mine on the back right window and a left window exit, and this is where the escape artist tactics really shine. After we make the decision to leave, we are checking both windows to make sure that there's not another teammate pinching that flew back in from our first 2 kills. We get a successful knock on the first player with that Betty, which buys us valuable time to escape the room. Now, we have no plates in. We've taken a significant amount of damage, but while we are retreating, we did get our ammo refilled in the magazine, which is why that's the second most important factors, is because we need as much ammo available to us as possible. The third step is to reposition, and after we've fallen back into cover, we are now going to take a new angle in the fight, and we catch a third enemy below. We are repositioning on the outside of this banister here. We're taking information that they are close by, and we need to hit step number 4. If possible, we want plates in. We have 1 knocked and he's selfing. We have a second enemy inside and a third enemy below. So once we hit plates, we're immediately pre-aiming the most logical threat, which is this window, and we're getting confirmation that they are looking for us. On outside angle, we get the plates in, and then we are ready for step 5, which is to re-engage. We are not sticking around. We are moving away from the danger. And what you need to continually do is cycle between those 5 basic instincts: retreat, reload, reposition, replate, re-engage, over and over and over again. We're reloading the weapon, we are putting in plates, and we are repositioning with each successful drop. We have tin as our notification. And now we're going to use a basic re-engagement tactic to put the gunfight in our control. We're going to bait with some shots and get them to jump down. Notice we are engaging this from behind cover, and we are shooting in the general area that would leave them vulnerable when they jump down. He takes the bait, and we're able to drop one, and then we continually lay down traps as they push towards us. We still have 3 alive from the squad, and they are continuing to push. We're reloading, we're replating, and we're repositioning with each successful fight. We want to keep this gunfight as divided as possible. We see another enemy in the open, we are going to retreat. We are activating that nope moment immediately, and we are going to get out of open lines of sight. As soon as we retreat, we are then going to reposition. We did not use ammo, and we are out of plates. So now it's time to chow. We catch them hitting a box, and as soon as we drop, we are also getting a visual cue and audio cue that the next player is jumping down in our window. We are not going to stick around in the fight because we are fully broken and we have no plates to resupply. So it's time to retreat. We're going to go down the hall and cut hard left out of that line of sight. And then we are going to take the next reposition. We're going to reload, react to the cue of the player dropping in, and take him out. Practicing your nope moment will increase your ability to get in and out of gunfights that you would normally not be able to get out of. In this scenario here, we have a full team pushing us from the gas line. We're going to hold the left angle to take advantage of the gas that is pushing them towards our direction. We once again have no plates. So we are going to push forward to aggressively take out this enemy. On the way, we have spotted a flanker on the right-hand side who is then pushing to our old position. We are logging that information, and as we roll up to break enemy 1's camera, we are paying attention to the fact that enemy 2 has pushed up to that position. We are going to thirst, and we are going to fall back once again and stim. We do not have plates to put in, and there is no time to reload this weapon. So we are continuing to reposition. We're hitting our shots. We're able to prioritize getting the plate, but we get broken by a grenade because we're still getting pushed by another enemy. We're able to reload the weapon. We are doing a repositional tactic that I call funneling. At this point, we've now rotated through their push to the backside of where they came from. Then we are holding a choke point. And this gives us the most amount of control in the situation, especially when you have no plates, when you're outnumbered by enemy players, and you can give yourself significant advantages on your exit strategy. So we are pre-aiming the door and we are ready for them to come through, and we have successfully taken them out. Once again, we still have no plates, but we have an awesome getaway at that point. The funneling tactic is extremely effective on fly-in because players tend to congregate on their power position of choice, and it is all about dividing them up. You only have a pistol when you start, so if you're out of ammo, you need to use your retreat, hit your reload, reposition, and then take out one enemy player to get a plate. My favorite tactic during this particular style of fight that I call gun game, which is just like the multiplayer gun game, is you get a kill and you pick up a weapon, and then you get another kill and you pick up a weapon. Generally, these lower capacity ground loot weapons, it is much faster and more likely that you will find ammunition in the weapon on the ground than reloading in time. And you can hit successful shots that way. Once again, retreat. While you're doing all this, you have to prioritize your sound and audio cues. And if you hear an enemy on a wood floor next to you or coming up alongside of you, it is a great time to activate your rotational aim assist and break their camera, because they are reacting to that stick, that reload, or that plate, and they are aggressively pushing you because you do not have plates in. And it is extremely common for players to prioritize the plate and lose the fight because of their positioning, or they weren't ready for the reaction. You have to be ready for these players that are going to continually push you after you kill their teammates. So once again, retreating, finding a new position, maximizing those resources, and then using the funnel method. And one of the reasons I call it that is we're going around the outside of the tornado and we're continually using the resources that we are finding from crates and bodies as we go until we have extinguished all the threats. The other great method about funneling is you have the most movement when you are isolating the chase from the window or the door. They have to come out of one opening and they don't know where you are standing. This is an extremely effective technique in high-octane POIs like Control. You can trace those doorways and hold as much swing power as possible, whereas they have less range of motion when they are caught off guard in a doorway. You can take out multiple enemies and then once again address your resources. And once you're successful in taking out the first set of enemies, you can add those resources to your retreat, reload, reposition. A major tactic that unfortunately does not get talked about enough in outnumbered fights is shot timing. And more importantly, timing in general. You have to be aware of your surroundings and getting the resources that you need only. When you are in the middle of a firefight and there are shots going off around you, the last thing you need to be doing is looting 7 items. Find an SMG, prioritize that weapon, and get yourself back in the fight. You cannot hang out. It is extremely easy for you to get overrun by multiple enemies. In this fight here, I've found my loadout in the arms of another player, and I am continually moving trying to get intel. I got my audio cue, I'm taking out enemy 1, and his pinged friends are over at Lighthouse. We're dropping back down, reprioritizing our plates, and we're trying to find a way into that building that is safe. When you're on the move, whether you're on offense or you're on defense, you have to be aware of lingering enemies that were not on your radar. You need to have that back pocket movement ready to defend yourself and fall back before you finalize the push. Hitting your note moment immediately in the middle of a push because you got broken by a different player is the big brain mentality that you need to be working into your everyday gunfights. It's going to be very difficult to fight 3 enemies, even with the help of 1 teammate, if I have no plates. So make sure you're falling back in the appropriate amount of time to reset your resources to those audio cues and have an escape plan. Fall back in the direction that you came. It is the safest known position because you were just there. Corner slide out against enemies that are pushing you and make sure you're tracking your targets accurately. When you're fighting more than 1 or 2 enemies, you need to be ready to switch to your secondary. It doesn't matter if it's the right weapon for the fight. The right weapon for the fight is the one that has ammunition in it. And that's where I'll even go back to the gun game scenario where I will pick up an enemy's gun off the ground and continue the fight so that I have ammunition for all the enemies involved. Your timing has to be practiced, and you need to be moving at the rate in which you are absorbing information and your ability to reset those gunfights, because you will leave one gunfight and go into another one in seconds. And if you're not managing your ability to stop and pull back, you're going to continue to trade 1 death for 1 kill each and every time. A huge part of timing is going to come down to your minimap. I have said it 1,000 times before. If you're not looking at your minimap and looking at your weapon pings, you are missing out on valuable information that can help you when you're pushing. Once you react to audio cues, you need to time your shots, kill them in the open, and don't stop firing if you already have first shots on the second enemy. I have all of my plates in this scenario, and there's absolutely no reason to run away, reload, or replate because he had no idea I was going to push. So I have the complete upper hand in this fight, and this is where I think that the balance of your offense and your defense needs to come into play, because this is completely fine to be greedy in this instance. But as soon as we get our successful knock, we need to reload that weapon, retreat, and then react to the third fight. And when you are fighting in clusters of stackers, you are going to get pushed by the second, third, and fourth enemy over and over again. So you need to become very fluid with your resource management and your position at all times. Patience is also extremely important when it comes to timing. You don't want to push out into the open when you don't have to. And if you have information that an enemy team is pushing you in a close fight, use the funneling technique to your advantage, but don't give them the advantage. Always pull back, retreat, reload, reposition, replate, and then re-engage. Players are going to use things like smoke, which is going to blind their movement, and they're excellent ways for them to get out of bad situations. Right now, the last enemy on this team is trapped inside the gas line, and I'm holding him, but I'm not firing my weapon because I don't want him to know that I'm here, and there's no aim assist in smoke. So I'm waiting it out, and I'm taking him out as he tries to rotate. Timing plays a big part in your holds. When you are pursuing an enemy, and you are going up and you're trying to take enemies off of high grounded locations, you have to time your shots and not give away your position and be ready to react when they return fire. They have the advantage with your elevated position, and you need to change that spot so that when you re-engage, they are not looking in your general direction. If you time it correctly, they can be looking at another teammate and you have a free shot. When you're taking power positions, having that same patience to take the high ground at the appropriate moment is everything. In this particular scenario here, prison dwellers likely have already thought that the backside of this building is safe because the stairwell is in the gas. They're also being pinched by my teammate down the line, and we're moving up to successfully knock them off of cover and their ability to hold green. Use this to take control of your power positions whenever possible. You want to time your rotations to work against enemy teams that are trying to hold you before you go down into the final zone. The reason that this patient tactic is so critical is if you are not using this technique correctly, you will find yourself as a solo player against 4 in the final zone a lot. The most effective way to defend against your enemy's aim assist is to break their camera. And there are a variety of ways to do this for both offensive and defensive tactics, but it is introducing unpredictable movement, which makes it extremely hard for them to track you. And you can do this with any weapon that you find on the ground, even a pistol, and it is extremely effective. This is why I say that patience is absolutely key, because you don't always win when you get first shots. In this scenario here, we're being chased by somebody. We have no plates in, and they are pursuing us around the corner. We break their camera and then completely win the fight. If we look at this one more time, as the enemy is rounding the corner, I'm making a conscious decision that I can go this way, I can go this way, or I can hard UE it around the corner. So I decided to go down the far hall and stim away, and they likely saw me go through this alley here, but they decided to do a cutoff route and come along the wall. This is where I think that it is extremely effective. And they are pulling up to the doorway, and as I come around, I am sliding past them intentionally and giving myself clear shots in this fight because I don't have plates in. They caught me off guard, and I'm using that defensively. When we talk about this extensively in the camera break video that I put out just a few weeks ago, where we talk about all different types of tactical angles, I'm going to leave that link down in the description below in case you missed it. You don't have to completely break their camera in an aggressive format. In fact, I do this technique more often because it gives me more control at staying in cover while I'm throwing off my enemy, and it's more or less slamming directly into your enemy player's character and then shifting side to side. And that rotational confusion can help you in a lot of fights. I do the exact same things in the scenario here, and then I'm backing off the fight, reloading the weapon, and attempting to revive. Notice here, I am not replating or repositioning because I'm trying to prioritize rezzing the teammate, but I am looking at the potential threat from a pinch. I've already cleared window 1, so the next place that they're likely going to try and enter is from the opposite side if they were trying to coordinate a push. I was accurate, and I heard the audio cue still with no plates in, and I immediately slid into their diagonal to break their camera, but then shift to the opposite side. I'm also initiating the hip fire while I'm doing this. I am dealing as much damage as possible as I reposition throughout the fight. I do not want them to thirst my teammate, and I do not want them to knock me in the process. I want to take control of the fight as fast as I can. That hip fire to ADS mentality will absolutely help you a ton when you are winning in average gunfights or multiple fights, because it gives you the most mobility throughout the course of your fight. Now, you can use a camera break as an offensive play if you know someone is in the room, and you can slide in to check your angle and then react to the opposite angle. Just like we do here, we don't see him in the corner, and we slide out, cancel, and then immediately swing back. So that speed and momentum is very effective on all courses. You can do this as you rotate through lots of POIs where enemies are maybe not as congested, and it can give you the upper hand in trying to fend them off. Make sure that you're still using the patience mentality so that you can get those free kills on players that don't know where you're at. Use your off angles to reset your gunfight as you retreat. You're retreating and reloading. You're repositioning and replating before you re-engage the next target. When you see an enemy entering a room that has no exit, or if they're in a room that is stuck in the gas, that gives you the information to control the fight. And that's where the camera break is really, really effective, is they have nowhere else to go. They have to fight you in the door, and the camera break is the best counter to someone trying to funnel you. Final tactic in today's video is all about prediction. I have spent hundreds and hundreds of hours dedicated towards helping students and subscribers learn the game sense side of Warzone. It is extremely important that if you intend to take out multiple targets, that you start to think more big brain and integrate the note moment into all of your gunfights. You want to also be holding your power positions and ready to take on enemies that have to move. There is no reason for you to push multiple enemies that are in the gas. You can hold them and just wait for them to come to you. It is the most simple game sense tip that you can learn to get more kills and take control of a situation. And right now we're in a 2v2 scenario. We have the low ground. We are not on the roof. We know that they are either on the roof or a couple floors above us. So we're going to keep zone, and we're going to wait for them to have to push down to us. We have stims, and we also have a resupply. But my teammate has decided that he wants an insurance policy of both of our teammates back. I love this tactic because it is a great bait tactic. Enemies will burn precious resources trying to get those fly-in kills, and that will give us valuable information once they start firing their weapon via tracer rounds or weapon pings on the map. So we are prepared to rat it out down here if we have to, but we want to fight. But we absolutely want to push them down to our area. So I find a cluster and I do my best to clear the roof. And then we hold opposite angles and wait for their push. One pushes down and one stays up in the gas and chokes it out. It is very important that you continually separate your enemies. And in this scenario here, we are in a low ground scenario where we are easily held. Once again, we are using the tactics, but to their extreme. We are retreating, reloading, repositioning, and replating, and we're waiting for the guy above to engage us before we re-engage. We're falling back, we're taking the water, pointing the weapon in the direction of the fight, and we're taking a deep rotate using the blind of the water. Looking back before we go towards the ladder just to make sure, put some shots on them, and then continue to rotate out the long way. But we are not running away from this fight because now we have superior position. We are the only one down here at Stronghold from our team, but we have 3 enemies. We're able to catch one as they're leaving the garage. They have to move because I am on the white line and they are being pushed by the gas. So there's absolutely no reason to walk away from this fight. But this is what I mean when you need to isolate those fights and predict what they're going to do. They have to move and they're going to assemble together and try and take me out in a 3v1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the truck as my blind between two enemies. I'm going to put successful shots on one, fall back, take the left side of the truck, and then I'm able to get the knock. I see the second one shift right, so I change my position and I don't reload. I'm timing those shots because I need it to be aggressive, and then I'm pushing up, replating, switching the weapon because there's not time to reload, thirsting with my knife, and then I decide I'm going to fall back once again to help control this third enemy. Enemies will also try and do their own retreat and rotate, so you want to continually fall back and take new power positions as the circle pushes them. You want to be aware of where loadout crates might be in this general vicinity of yours, because as players come back in Resurgence or even on Verdansk, they're going to want to go to those boxes first because they want to come back and help that one teammate. But I know that there's still a guy down there because I can see him on the radar right now. So I'm going to go back and revisit that hold and give myself the best possible angle for new teammates that are coming in. If you use these tactics, you will absolutely improve at the game. Let me know down in the comments below on what you think is the most effective way at fighting Outnumbered. Do you think it's all movement? Do you think it's all game sense? I love hearing from you guys. I really appreciate all the love on the channel. Keep building, keep adapting. Sit rep out.